Mossy Brain!
Are you human? Are you alive? If so, then creativity is inside you and it wants to come out and play. It's the MossyBrain Show, where creativity and fun collide, with your hosts, Ben and Jess Beresh. Hello!
Hello!
And welcome to the very first MossyBrain podcast.
My name is Ben Beresh.
And I'm Jess Beresh. We are related, married in fact, and this is the first podcast. We're so excited.
We are so excited. We've been planning this for months. We're jumping in, we're trying something new, we're being brave. We're so happy that you are listening to this and experiencing this with us.
This is the maiden voyage.
We are launching out into the ocean.
Into the deep blue
That's right.
sea of the interwebs.
Certainly of podcast land. We're going to break a bottle of champagne, metaphorically, on the hull.
Well,
and christen
can
this
you
maiden
still
voyage.
drink it if you do that? That feels wasteful.
You need to get down really low.
Excessive.
You need to be able to catch that overspray.
Sure. Just kind of open your mouth and let it,
Yep, you got to watch out for the busted glass.
Yeah. It's a risky endeavor,
It's tricky.
I think.
You know what
yeah.
is a better plan if that's your goal? It's just head on down to the store, buy your own, break one, drink one.
Break one, drink one. Okay. All right. We can do that. Yeah. But like metaphorically, how do we break
What's
one?
your pleasure? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's your pleasure?
Either way, this is the first,
This is
and
it.
we're just very excited to get going with this and to start the conversation with you guys about creativity. And that here at MossyBrain, we believe that it's for everyone and anyone.
Yep.
And we think that traditionally our idea of creativity has been limited, kind of put in this box of these people are creative and they have this gift from the heavens and they are chosen. And the rest of us just like, well, that's too bad. You know, we just kind of bask in their glory. But we kind of think that, you know, everyone has the ability to be creative.
That's
that
right.
Creativity is more of a choice. It's like a path that you get to choose. And so we're just ready to jump right in and
Let's
learn.
not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We want to first introduce ourselves. Now, we've told you our names, but we want to tell you a little bit about us since you'll be possibly spending some time with us and getting to know us as a part of the MossyBrain community. So, Jess, why don't you say a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you're all about?
So I married this young man, the strapping young man.
I was young at one time.
Well, when we were married, I guess we were young. We're about almost 15 years now. We have 4 children. We met in college where I got my psychology degree. And then I nannied, and then I had children. So I've just been kind of spending my days with kids, and I love it. But I'm also excited to do other things and to interact with adults. That's always a plus. So I get to stay home and help, you know, and to take care of these kids and help my oldest homeschool. And we, our days are full, but it's all the good stuff, and also some hard stuff, but good, you know?
Jessica, as you will find out over the course of this journey, is actually my hero. And
Wow, I like that.
she does what needs to be done to keep this family going. But also, she is a wonderful creative. She got a great brain inside of that head, a mossy brain, you might say. Excellent writer. And just a really great thinker. I am better for spending time with this lady.
Well, and let me just quickly say, when we began the conversation about MossyBrain months and months ago, I felt a little daunted by the task, and I thought, who am I to be talking about creativity? And then I started to think about it a little differently and realized I'm actually a good person to talk about it, because I'm not one of those people that would probably be labeled like a capital C creative. Even though I enjoy creative endeavors, I've never really thought of myself as particularly skilled, or I wouldn't have labeled myself a creative. And so I think I can speak to those of you out there who also think of yourself that way. I have never thought of myself as creative. How do I begin? How can this affect every aspect of my life? Just kind of starting out on this journey And I am with you. I'm learning about this with you. And our hope really is to just gather information and then just become cheerleaders for the other people out there who are trying to live a creative life. That is me. I am no expert, but I am excited to be on this journey, and hopefully I learn every step of the way. What about you, Ben Beresh?
Well, I'm originally from Canada. I don't know if we've mentioned this yet, but we live in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, the Sooner State. I'm originally from Canada. I'm from Niagara Falls. That's where I was born and that's where I was raised. Came to these United States several years ago, about 18 years ago.
19 years ago, babe.
19 years ago?
20 years.
That's right.
He had much more of an accent when he came here, and now he just sounds like the rest of us Okies.
I'll let you all be the judge
He
of
doesn't even say A anymore.
the condition of my accent, my parlance.
He did recently become a United States citizen.
Last year, I became a United States citizen.
Took a little while to get there, but yeah, he's American now.
So I've been involved in creative pursuits for most of my life. Grew up playing music, played in a lot of bands, loved music a long time. Actually thought I would have a career in music. Turns out you need a little bit more than passion.
Did you say loved music long time?
Loved music a long time.
I like that.
Well,
I feel like that could be a shirt.
That could
Or
be a whole
band.
Could be a whole other podcast.
Yeah,
love music long
time. Yeah.
Let's keep that in the hopper.
Okay. I just, like things just flow. This is what we're learning about creativity. Things just flow
Just
right out
come
of your
to
mouth,
you.
and then
Boom,
you just
boom,
got to
boom,
pay
boom,
attention
boom.
and be like, whoa, that's something right there.
Don't
let that go.
While I was loving music a long time, I had this realization at some point that, for most people in the music industry, there's some kind of a prerequisite, and that is talent. And you actually need it. And so I decided to leave that to more capable folk. I embrace music as a pleasure and still do to this day. After college, I did a lot of different things. Worked in a recording studio as an engineer and producer, got into television. That took me into media production in general. So graphic design, certainly audio production and mixing, and video production and filmmaking. Fast forward to today, I have my own company, and we produce content for clients all over the place. So because this is our very first podcast, this is actually, I would call this episode 0. It's really an introduction. We wanted to share with you guys the secret origin of MossyBrain.
It's not going to be a secret once we say this.
No.
Are we ready to share this?
Well, we're building a relationship with you, our listener, and part of that is, sharing little pieces of ourselves.
Trust.
It's trust and it's intimacy.
We're building
and so
trust. Yeah.
We want to just kind of pull back the curtains so that you can see, what's this all about? Where did this come from? Clearly Ben and Jessica are visionaries.
Geniuses is what some might say.
Hey,
I don't know.
I want to have a little bit
of
humility.
Sure.
But
I don't say it. It's just that other people say it. I think. I just have heard.
So you've heard, yeah. Understood.
I mean, it's not my words, but.
So what we wanted to do is we wanted to share where MossyBrain came from. And it actually comes from a TV show some of you might be familiar with, Seinfeld. We used to watch a lot of Seinfeld in our early marriage.
Back in our wild and young early 20s.
We were wild.
We were just crazy. And we would do this little thing we like to call watching the shows.
Watching the shows. Bed. This is before Netflix, kids. This is before streaming.
Well,
it wasn't before the internet. We're not that old.
Okay.
But we used to watch some shows that were in syndication every night, starting at 10:30, and Seinfeld was among these shows. So we have seen many, many episodes of Seinfeld. There's one in particular.
Stuck in Ben's little noggin there.
The episode is entitled "The Friars Club." If you would like to check it out, streaming on Hulu. But the episode is called "The Friars Club," in which Jerry Seinfeld is up for potential membership at the Friars Club in New York City. And amongst Jerry's adventure with the Friars Club, one Cosmo Kramer takes upon himself to study the life of Leonardo da Vinci.
He calls him the master. Yeah.
The master.
And he says his name means from Vinci.
From Vinci.
So yeah, that's something just to make a mental note of. Yeah, he tells about how the master would only sleep for 20 minutes at a time every 3 hours.
This is the scientific term for this is polyphasic sleep. The scientific and medical benefits of polyphasic sleep are up for debate. I'll leave that to smarter people to decide
Yes.
if that's a yay or nay. But Cosmo Kramer,
He was up for trying, just given
he
given
decides
it a
that he
try.
would experiment in this.
If it's good enough for the master,
to be like the master.
it's good enough for Kramer.
So Kramer begins his experiment, and in the early stages of the experiment, he finds a certain euphoria and a certain renewed sense of productivity and energy. So he comes into Jerry's apartment as he does, and he says he is percolating. He is firing on all cylinders. He says he's feeling fertile. What does he say?
He says, "I'm mossy, Jerry. My brain is mossy."
When he said that, of course, we all laughed. It's funny. He's funny. But the notion of a mossy brain, a fertile brain, was something that intrigued me. And I thought, I like this.
Ben filed it away on his mossy brain to pull out a good 15, 20 years later. And when we were talking about creativity in this process, he's like, I know what to call it.
Yep.
Mossy brain.
Mossy brain.
So that is Zero Origins. Now we will just give a quick disclaimer. This feels like it could be a cautionary tale because later in the episode he starts to fall asleep at random places.
Falls asleep in a pile of garbage. He fell asleep
standing up in Jerry's kitchen, and then
he fell asleep while he was making out with some woman with ties to the underworld. She thinks he's dead. And then calls.
Did you say ties to the underworld?
Yeah.
Is that a name for like the mob?
Yeah.
The underworld?
Yeah.
That sounds like demons and like supernatural things.
No. Well, I mean, I guess, but yeah, everybody.
I don't
knows.
think there was anything supernatural going on here.
No.
Just she had ties to the mob. He falls asleep on her, and she thinks he's dead. But she can't get up. She can't push him off. So she calls her whoever and says, "You got to come get him. He fell asleep on me. I can't move him. I can't call so and so because he'll find out." You know. So clearly she's cheating. But then two guys come and get Kramer, and they put him in
a burlap sack,
a giant sack,
and they drop him in the Hudson River.
And luckily,
that's where he woke up.
It was not cinched tight enough, or maybe tied in a good enough knot, because he was able to escape in the water. Luckily,
and for those of you who haven't seen Seinfeld, it is a comedy. Although Susan dies.
Sure. Yeah.
And some would say
maybe mixed with some tragedy.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
very
I don't
irreverent.
know that. Irreverent for sure. I don't know that Susan's death
was a tragedy.
Well, I don't know that it was murder outright. Certainly nobody was charged.
It was the stamps.
Well, we know that it was the stamps.
Anyway.
If you haven't already, watch Seinfeld.
Check Seinfeld
Great
out.
show.
It's worth it.
Great show.
So that is the origin of the name Mossy Brain. Wanted to kind of put that out there in case people were wondering, where did you get this ingenious name? I'm kind of throwing that word genius around a lot tonight.
Well, if the shoe fits.
We don't say that.
If the shoe fits.
Some might say
I
that.
can say that about you.
Oh, okay.
So we just wanted to say quickly what to expect from this podcast in future episodes. We're doing this for a reason. We believe in, the idea of creativity and creativity for everyone. From this podcast, we're going to do a number of things. We want to have discussions about creativity and the creative process, because we believe, like Jessica said, creativity is an open path. Anybody can choose to walk down it. And when we do, we see the benefits from that in our lives.
We like to say, whatever the problem, creativity is the path to the solution. It feels like in whatever area of your life, whatever problem you're facing, creativity could help you come to the right solution. And that's just it's like an innovative way of thinking about things, coming at problems from different angles and rethinking some of the traditional ways or the ways that habits we've formed. And I think when we start to think about things more creatively, then we are kind of opened up to more options, and really it could be the solution. That's what we're banking on.
So in addition to these discussions, we plan on having interviews on this podcast with leading creatives and creative thinkers who have something valuable to add to the conversation. As all of us are walking along this path, we want to look to people who are and have led the way with creativity in their own lives. So we're going to be having some interviews to hear about some experiences, some best practices, and for them to just talk about what their creative journey has been like.
Absolutely. We want this to be a space for learning, to become learners. And Ben and I are the first ones in line for that. We just hope to learn from other people who are walking this path and who have some wisdom to share with us.
Finally, we just want to have fun with you guys. We want there to be some great interaction between us and you all who are part of this community. We want to have some interactive challenges. We want to have you guys send us some stuff, some content that we'll share. And we just want this to be a thriving community where everybody kind of has a voice and everybody can get involved. And that you who are listening will have fun and be uplifted by either listening to this podcast or watching on YouTube or whatever the case may be. We just want to have fun with you guys.
And support you in your journey, whatever it looks like for you, whatever path that takes, in whatever ways that you are taking these steps. We want to support you in that, and we hope that this is a place for growth and for learning and for fun. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us
on this maiden voyage. Please
subscribe and stay tuned for episode 1. And we'll see you soon. Please just keep your brain mossy.